Hey there, guys. I wanted to drop in real quick to talk to you about a brand new offer that I've put together just for you. It truly is going to revolutionize the way that you do business. I am offering a 90-minute strategy session that's also going to give you a visual roadmap that will guide you over the next 6 months to be able to accomplish any author goal you want to make happen. So here's the thing, we all need some one-on-one guidance sometimes. And the whole idea behind this is to give you the one-on-one personalized experience that you're really craving and get you on the road to your greatest success, right? That's all we really want for you. So if you're curious about how this is going to work, head over to authorrevolution.org/visual map and learn more about it today. Welcome to the Author Revolution podcast, where change is not just embraced, it's celebrated. I'm Carissa Andrews, international best-selling author, indie author coach, and your navigator through the ever-evolving landscape of authorship. Are you ready to harness the power of your mind and the latest innovations in technology for your writing journey? If you're passionate about manifesting your dreams and pioneering new writing frontiers, then you're in the perfect place. Here, we merge the mystical woo of writing with the exciting advancements of the modern world. We dive into the realms of mindset, manifestation, and the transformative magic that occurs when you believe in the impossible. We also venture into the world of futuristic technologies and strategies, preparing you for the next chapter in your author career. Every week, we explore new ways to revolutionize your writing and publishing experience. From AI to breakthrough thinking, this podcast is your gateway to a world where creativity meets innovation. Whether you're penning your first novel or expanding your literary empire, whether you're a devotee of the pen or a digital storyteller, this podcast is where your author revolution gains momentum. So join me in this journey to continue growth and transformation. It's time to redefine what it means to be an author in today's dynamic world. This is the Author Revolution podcast, and your author revolution starts now. Well, hi guys, welcome back to the Author Revolution podcast. Oh, today I have a really inspiring and interesting guest for you. He is someone he's inspired an awful lot in me since this conversation. And so it'll be an interesting thing to see what you think of this conversation, because we talk about everything from technology and AI to how we can utilize AI to help us with our mindfulness aspects and like future casting and thinking about how we get to have what we have, or how we can rewire our thoughts of the past, and even like how important it is to have different experiences. So let's welcome my guest, Manoj Agarwal, and hear what he has to say. It's going to be a fun and interesting conversation, so let's go. Well, hi there, Manoj. Thank you so much for being a part of the Author Revolution podcast. I'm really excited to speak with you today and to learn more from you. But before we get started, do you want to share a little bit about who you are, what your story is, what you do?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here. My story, basically, it began in India. My career started working in a factory for $2 a day, and I was 15 at that time, and I wanted to change my life. Wanted to do something better with my life, and I fell into computers through various sort of hit and trial methods, tried to find my path, and I discovered technology and software, computers, and these were early days of the internet. And so, in fact, like the first few computers I used, they didn't have any network, or it was basically a floppy disk, 1 megabyte floppy disk. But anyway, I mean, I just fell in love with technology, and I knew that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And then I came to North America in 1998, started working with a few startups. And again, that was the dot-com boom time. So I got a job fairly easily, quickly, but then I also lost the job in a similar easy and quick fashion. And in fact, I lost like 4 jobs in 2 years. So that sort of, because that was the very sort of economically turbulent time. First, the dot-com bust happened, then September 11th happened, then the Gulf War started, and all of that. So in that chaos, I was sort of forced into entrepreneurship. So I started my consulting company. And we started helping other companies who wanted to build technology, software, and we started working with a lot of startups. Then we worked with a lot of larger corporations, Pearson Education, Microsoft, IBM, T-Mobile, and all of that. And yeah, and then I discovered artificial intelligence in 2006, although AI has been around since the 60s. So we started working with AI in 2006, and then we got deeper and deeper into it. So we created brand new technologies using AI, helping patients fix their joint pains, helping students complete their degree programs, and many other practical applications of AI at a large scale. And so ended up getting 4 patents in AI and becoming a thought leader, speaking about AI all over the world, helping people understand the importance of this technology. And not only that, but actually implementing this technology for a greater good. So that's what my company does. And we work with small to medium-sized businesses primarily, but also with larger corporations, people who really want to, utilize this technology for good.
So amazing. So, okay, my question then, if you've been working on AI since 2006, how does it differ, from then to what it looks like and appears to be as of right now? Like, has it changed a lot?
Sure. Let me give you an analogy to explain what is happening, right? So first of all, AI has been around for a long time. And around the year 2000, 1995, as the internet was coming up, right? Like some people realized the importance of AI and what it can do. And those people started some companies, you will recognize their names like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. These people recognized the importance of technology, and it took them like literally 20 years to become the richest people on the planet because they understood the importance of technology. And this is similar to saying that, in 1920s, Henry Ford came up with the Model S of the car. It was just black car, no other color. And it spewed out a lot of smoke and it was not safe and whatnot. And over the decades, now cars are so advanced, we can literally live in them, right? So it's the same thing with AI. People who realized the importance earlier on, they started building. And then in 2022, ChatGPT came along, which is another type of AI. But what ChatGPT did was it made it accessible to everybody. So you didn't have to have like a lot of money, a lot of expertise, a lot of resources to be able to use that AI. So now that is the reason why AI has become like a household name, because just like the iPhone made the phones accessible or technology accessible to everyday person, ChatGPT did the same. So right now, the common sort of perception is AI is like a chatbot. You can just talk to it, but AI is much, much, much bigger than that and much more powerful than just ChatGPT. Although ChatGPT has really created a new wave of technology now.
Yeah. Well, can you explain? Obviously, you have a much bigger grasp of what AI encompasses then. What else does it, or what other capabilities does it have? And I know that you've one of the questions that you like to talk about or were on your list were things like, how can AI change the world? And so I'm really curious to see like what is the bigger, broader picture of AI?
Oh, sure. So let me give you a layperson's definition of AI first, so that I can put it in a simpler context for everyone. So let's say we have a 10-year-old kid, and he touches a stove, and his mind is going to as soon as he touches the stove, he feels hot. He's going to remove his hand, and his mind is going to automatically register a data point that, hey, touching a stove is not a good idea. Don't do it next time, right? So our mind is a pattern recognition and learning machine. And so I picked a example of 10-year-old, but even a 3-year-old will have the same reaction. So our mind starts to develop this pattern recognition very, very earlier on, right? Now, let's say the child is in the middle of Antarctica. It's very, very cold out there, and the child is actually wearing heat-resistant gloves. And now the child touches the hot stove. It actually will feel pleasant because it's so cold out there. And our mind will, even at that age, is capable of understanding, oh, there are variables in this situation. So if it's very, very cold, I'm wearing protective gear. It's okay to touch the stove. So I can recognize that pattern now, right?
Yep.
Now, if you think about applying this to more complex problems like, climate change, find cure for cancer, find energy sources, there are millions and millions of parameters and variables involved in that, right? So just take an example of like predict the weather in next 14 days. There's Earth's movement, sun's movement, time of the year, moon, the ocean, river, all of these things combined, then you can predict the pattern, right? So
Sure.
human mind is not able to pick up all these patterns. We are not capable of doing that. But machines can understand millions and millions of parameters. So it can process this information and figure out, okay, what is the outcome for this complex problem? So I hope that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
So now to answer your next question, how will it change the world? We have been trying to apply our human intellect to solve these big problems. And we have made such a huge leap in technology. In the last 100 years, we have invented more things than the previous, thousands of years combined, right?
Right.
Now we have the internet, the computer, all of that. So life has become very easy, very comfortable, but we still have huge problems because humans have the tendency to fix one problem, create another one. And
Right.
so now we have problems of, like, as I said, what is the environment look like for our kids? How are we going to feed everyone and make sure everyone has enough food and enough nutrition, water, all of that stuff, right? Diseases, like we went through a huge pandemic, how to avoid these kind of things in the future. So these kind of things is not even somebody of the caliber of Einstein individually cannot solve these kind of problems. So AI is going to be, and AI is already helping to solve these problems in faster ways, easier ways, and whatnot.
That's very interesting. Yeah. My husband and I talk an awful lot about like the future of AI and how it appears to be evolving and how it appears like we're going to be having situations happen in the future. And we've talked a lot about how like we could foresee a future where we as individuals have our own personal AIs that follow us around and help us figure out certain things in our lives, certain aspects of our careers, but it understands us on a personal level. Do you foresee like any kind of direction of AI becoming more personalized?
It has already become highly personalized. So if you use any type of social media platform like Facebook or Twitter, or even if you go on Google News, they understand a lot about you as an individual. In many cases, they understand more about you than you understand about yourself. Okay.
Right.
So it's already happening where these platforms are going to feed you information that will resonate with you. It could be resonance in a way that could trigger you for making you click on ads or things of that nature. But personalization definitely is the name of the game. Moving forward, you will see highly personalized experiences in every aspect of life, from online shopping to banking to insurance or what have you. So far, it was not possible because, as I said, humans were limited to certain choices. So I worked on a project where we actually created 3D printed orthotic devices that help patients with joint pains. Now, orthotics is not a new field, but if you go out there in the market and look for an orthotic device, they'll give you like 10 choices, because in order to mass manufacture these devices, you can only come up with few variations.
Sure.
But now with technology, you can personalize it and you can actually manufacture it for that person individually, right?
Sure.
So that is possible with AI. Moving forward, let's say in 10 years, 15 years, like if I go to a doctor today, let's say if I have a problem, he or she is going to prescribe me a medicine. I'll go pick it up from the pharmacy. And there will be, in the marketing material of that medicine, there'll be something like, 95% of the people get cured, but 5% of them will experience some sort of a side effect,
Yep.
because, that's how medicine is manufactured today. But in 15 years, the doctor is going to say, okay, let me take your DNA sample and make a new medicine that actually fits your DNA profile exactly so that it doesn't have any side effect, right? So that level of personalization, in fact, already is happening today, but in 10, 15 years, it'll become mainstream.
Sure. Oh, so cool when you think about the ramifications of that. I mean, I even think about, vitamins and nutrient deficiencies and how cool would it be to know exactly which ones you need to be supplementing versus having the stuff that's obviously not helping you. And it's just, yeah. Oh, how cool is that? That's very neat. From an author's perspective, like we are utilizing, things like ChatGPT with like custom GPTs right now, and we're utilizing it in a way where we're, importing perhaps like a series of books and letting it figure out, what the series tropes are, what the series was all about, and then helping us dive into the planning of new books and new things going forward. And so for me, AI has been just a phenomenal new tool to be able to do the things I was already doing, but faster. It's been
Exactly.
super cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That it is as you said, like the right word is it's a tool that everybody should be using, and it helps us exactly as you said, like do things faster and better.
Yeah. What do you think of people, like obviously in a lot of fields, even though AI has been around for a while, there are a lot of people up in arms about AI where they're like, what is this thing? And it should be like shunned. Like, what do you tell people who are a little bit afraid of AI?
Well, first of all, I think Hollywood has not done a good job to portray AI.
Right.
So there's a lot of fear from Hollywood movies like Terminator or news about Skynet or what have you.
Yep.
But the fact is, even without Hollywood, human nature is to be afraid of things that we don't understand yet and that are unknown. And this is not new. Like when the printing press came about, there was a lot of riots and a lot of resistance. Okay, what will the world look like if everybody starts to read? Everybody starts to get the information that is reserved for only the elite of the society. Then, when the steam engine came along and the factories started using steam engines, there were riots in UK, in England, because the people working in the field or working manual jobs or driving horse carts, they were like, "What are we gonna do?" Right? But the thing is that people who understand that human evolution and technology are not separate things. One feeds the other, right? As I
Yeah.
said, we create solutions which create problems, then we create new solutions, create new problems, and that's part of evolution. So once you understand this simple mechanics and you say, okay, I'm going to adopt this technology and see what I can do with it, those people are the ones who benefit. So as I said, Jeff Bezos, not a particularly brilliant idea to say, okay, people are buying books, internet is becoming more popular, let me sell books online. Not a groundbreaking idea, but that one idea and open mind led him to become like the richest person on the planet, right? So human nature I cannot change. People who will be scared, they will be scared until they have no choice but to adopt it.
Sure.
I can just say, and these are not my words, I'll say things like, for example, Sundar Pichai, he's the CEO of Google. He has said that AI is going to have bigger implications for humanity than fire or electricity, right?
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
That's bold
So
words.
so
Okay.
if, and I completely agree with that, right? So
Yeah.
if you can imagine your life without electricity, and I think electricity was invented early 1900s, and you said, I'm good with my lamp, oil lamps, and even today, if you're working in this world with your oil lamps, more power to you. But how far are you gonna get, right?
Yep. Yep. I completely agree with you. I have a course that I created to help authors learn how to utilize like ChatGPT or other tools similar to it so that they can plan their series. And at the time, it was so we developed it in I think it was September of last year, and it launched in October. And it was so interesting to see the number of people who, they kind of tiptoed into it thinking like, what is this thing really going to be about? How's this going to work? And as soon as they start playing with it and start getting like that feedback and they realize the implications of how cool it is, now all of a sudden like their whole outlook changes. Like they went from being like should we really be doing this, to like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And
Yeah.
it's so cool to watch that transformation because, when you're in that forefront where you're able to see just how transformative this thing's going to be, you know, it's like you just want everybody to do it. And it's like, why are you scared? It's amazing. Like, check this thing out. And some authors, for sure, and obviously other people in other industries are definitely not on that early bandwagon. They're not early adopters just yet.
Yeah, I think you bring up a very, very important point, and I completely agree with it. Like taking baby steps is the way to go with any new technology. I mean, again, think about riding a bicycle. We fall for the first few times and all that. Our parents push us along, and then eventually we get it. Same with swimming, same with driving. You take baby steps, and eventually you get it.
Yeah, yeah, it's so good. It's really a good thing. And I've definitely enjoyed testing the waters and having like those future casting moments where I've been thinking about like, what are the implications? How is this going to expand? What is this going to look like? I mean, when we have like, even from an author perspective, if we have our own personal AI that kind of follows us along, kind of like an Alexa device or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and we can just be like, okay, I have this really cool idea. Let's flesh it out. And it already has all of the information of all the books that you've already written, or, your interest. It's going to be really interesting to see how quickly we can develop
Yeah,
new stories and new ideas. It's going to be neat.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you've spoken about the power of the mind and psychology in achieving success. So can you offer some advice to authors who are developing a mindset that helps them overcome like self-doubt or rejection that we often face in the publishing world, or even just like the self-doubt of using AI?
Yeah, I think the key here is to recognize that everything that we experience in the real world, the first step of that is developing that in our thought, in our mind, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people don't realize that, and this is all based on scientific data. Humans have 60 to 70,000 thoughts every day. Okay, and 90% of those thoughts are negative, meaning, oh, I'm not good enough, I don't know why I make these mistakes, people don't like me, whatever, all these things, right? So
Yeah.
one way to reverse this trend is the practice of meditation. And I see you have the Om banner
Yeah.
in the back. But meditation is a way to sort of utilize your conscious mind and use it as an observer to notice what is happening in your subconscious mind. And
Yeah.
you'll start to see this stream of thought that is happening in our minds every day. And as you notice these negative thoughts coming with meditation, basically you start to separate out your conscious mind and subconscious mind. And your conscious mind can now start making decisions to say, okay, this is not what I want to think, this is not what I want to say to myself. I want to say, okay, I'm able to overcome any challenges, and I'm able to achieve all of these things, and then plant those stories. One thing I will say, again, since we are talking about authors are storytellers, right?
Yep.
And all a human being is, if you break it down, is a bunch of stories that are happening in our mind over and over and over and over, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can start to meditate, if you can start using AI, this is a very powerful technique, by the way. You are writing fictional stories for other people, but what if you write your own life story and you say to yourself, oh, look how far I have come, and then you read it to yourself, you will start to get familiar with your own power, with your own resilience, right? So these are the ways you can combine Eastern traditions of meditation and new technologies like AI to really experience growth in whatever you're trying to do.
I love that. For me, I'm kind of that weird combination where it's like I'm kind of on one hand science fiction and on the other side fantasy. So I love Buddhist teachings. I love being able to like play around with the concepts of mind. We teach actually manifestation for authors in one of those like other side of the company. And so we
Mm.
have things like meditations and guided meditations and then hypnoses to get into the subconscious mind. So I completely 100% agree with you there. It's amazing how much we can learn from ourselves when we silence the mind or rewrite the stories, like you said,
Yeah,
that we're
exactly.
telling ourselves, because that's how you shift and grow into that person that you're actually hoping to become. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
exactly, exactly.
Now you have this intriguing connection, and maybe you kind of touched on it just a minute ago too, about the correlations or the connection between meditation and I, which seem to be completely different, opposite fields. Could you offer that fresh perspective? Like, what do you mean by meditation and AI have something in common? Like, what is that?
Well, as I try to explain, most of us, I'm generalizing because I used to belong in the same category, because uh, our lives are controlled by our conscious mind, and that is sort of like only 5% of what we are capable of. You may have heard this, we only use 10% of our capacity, mind's capacity. So the reason is because our subconscious mind is what is driving our life, but it is like an iceberg, below the surface. So 95% of that is invisible to us, and we don't even know what is happening beneath the covers. And so with meditation, as I said, think of like a sticker, right? A sticker has the sticky part, and it has like a smooth paper in the back that you peel off, and then it becomes, you can stick it to the wall or wherever. Our mind is like that. So think of the subconscious mind as the sticker, the conscious mind as the sticker, and the subconscious as the smooth paper in the back. So with meditation, it starts to separate. You can start to observe it. So from one entity, you can start to experience two entities: conscious mind, subconscious mind.
Yep.
And again, that's the power of you telling the right stories to yourself. With AI, for example, I do this with my clients as the first step of their journey with us. It's about looking at the past stories and looking at the future stories. As humans, the Buddha, as you said, Buddhist teachings are stay in the present. But it's most people find it very difficult to stay in the present. Our mind is always focused on, oh, what happened in the past or what is going to happen in the future. Now, utilize AI to create stories of the past. Okay, I had a bad experience with this person. Okay, go to AI and say, this is what happened. Tell me this story in a more positive light. What did I
Mm,
learn from this? What was the lessons? How did I become stronger? And utilize that story to change the narrative that are happening in your mind about the past. And
sure.
then you talk about, oh, I'm gonna achieve this thing. I'm gonna buy a home. I'm gonna buy a nice car. I'm going to get married. I'm going to find a partner, whatever that is. Again, very vague. These are vague ideas in our mind floating around. So you go to AI and say, okay, give me a detailed description of what this will look like. How will this experience feel like? And then you are defining in concrete terms how you will actually experience that. So you can start to almost receive that benefits of meditation through AI by fixing the stories of the past and the stories of the future. And
That's so good.
obviously, get aligned in the
Oh,
present.
that is super cool. Like I mean, I call it consulting the Oracle when I'm having to deal with AI. Like I have a question, I'm like, I'm going to consult the Oracle. But it's so interesting because when we're teaching manifestation, sometimes as authors, we're going through years, maybe a decade or more, of where we're struggling through everything, where we're trying to get seen, we're trying to be published faster, trying to publish our books faster, we're trying to get more sales or whatever. It never occurred to me to be like, hey, this is the situation of how everything is played out in my author career right now. Tell me like what I'm learning. Tell me how this is actually benefiting me. It's like, because I do try to teach authors that, you're mid manifestation. So maybe you're adding more tools to your tool belt. Maybe you're adding more support through the people that you need to meet and the energies that have to come in or whatever. But to have a tool, like, it never occurred to me to say, hey, Chad, spin this thing for me so I can view it or envision it differently. And even like if you're trying to generate more money, for instance, often obviously people and authors are doing that. We can't always encompass or envision like what would that future self or that future look like if you had money. So I would imagine you'd be able to do the same thing then too, and be like, describe what my life will look like if I'm a successful author so that I can get a better handle on it. How cool is that? That is really neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. I like it. Okay, so obviously exponential growth is a concept that many authors aspire to achieve. From your experience, are there any key strategies or habits that authors could adopt to exponentially grow their audience or influence in this digital era?
Yeah, first of all, everything is all about our core values. Success and money today are the tools that we use to measure our success. But I think we need to change that definition and see, okay, how many the definition of success should be how many people you have impacted. And by the way, if you use that metric, money is a byproduct of all that, right?
Right.
So now, if you work backward from there, now you want to say, okay, how do I impact more people? That means your message needs to resonate with more people. That means you need to showcase who you truly are, what you are made of as a human, what struggles you have gone through, what are your thoughts about certain things, what are your values. When you start to amplify that message, then you become a magnet of to people who are in the same wavelength. And again, there is no right or wrong here. Like, I'm a tech guy, I talk about technology. You are an author, you talk about telling stories. Somebody else may be talking about business. Somebody else may be talking about helping people building homes in Africa. Whatever your true life purpose is. And how do you find life purpose? I share this concept, a Japanese concept called ikigai. So ikigai is a very simple framework which helps you to figure out your life purpose and who you truly are. Once you find that, you start to amplify that. And today, that this is easier and less expensive than any time in human history. Get online, talk to people, share your stories, find your ikigai, and just keep repeating that as you start to build a community around you. And as you build a community around you, I mean, there is a saying, you only need 1,000 true fans in this world to live like a king or queen. And there are 8 billion people on this planet. So it's not that difficult to attract 1,000 true fans if you can really overcome your own view of who you are and really elevate yourself using these tools that we just talked about. Then it's just a matter of consistency and time.
I love that. That's key. Definitely the consistency part of it, because I think in this era right now, we have a lot of the we want everything right now. We want to be able to be successful today. We want it to have money today. We want to impact people today. And so having that consistency and remembering that it's all part of the journey of accumulating those people that you are impacting, that's good, because it needs to expand like that. I agree.
Exactly.
Okay, considering your acknowledgement of neurodiversity as a contributing factor to your own success, what messages do you have for authors who might see their own neurodiversity as a barrier when it comes to what they're trying to do rather than a strength? Like what would you say to that?
See, as I said earlier, you have to understand humanity is a huge species, 8 billion people. We have unfortunately labeled things in incorrect manner. If somebody has a neurodiverse way of thinking, we label them with various labels. That doesn't mean they are not valuable or they don't have brilliant thought. In fact, some of the most interesting and deep conversations I've had are with people on the spectrum, right? So I will say again, understand one thing: whoever you are, you only need to attract 1,000 more people similar to you. And when you put your message out there without any prejudice, without any I mean, you have to be vulnerable and you have to present your true self, but without any notion that nobody's going to listen to me. Initially, yeah, nobody may listen to you, but eventually, as you stay consistent with your message, those people who have had similar experiences as you, they will start to gather around you. So if you consider yourself to be a neurodiverse person, there will be other neurodiverse people who are seeking similar things that you are offering. But the point is, in order to get to them, you need to be able to expose yourself and be out there so that they can get attracted to you. I will just say, yeah, again, coming from the background I come from, you will have people around you saying things, you will not amount to anything, you're not good enough and all that. You can shut off those voices and find those people, because they exist out there, who will say, oh, you will amount to something, you are capable of something, you will be able to do something, let me help you out, and all of these things. As authors, I'm pretty sure in the audience most people are familiar with hero's journey framework, right?
Yep.
The hero's journey framework says once you are on an adventure, you will find a lot of ups and downs, but eventually you will find a mentor who has gone the path before you, experienced the same things as you're experiencing right now, and will be able to help you with whatever you are doing. So if people are Star Wars, I'm a Star Wars fan, you'll see Luke Skywalker meets Yoda, and in Matrix, Neo meets Morpheus, and in Lord of the Rings, Gandalf was the mentor. So if you truly believe as an author on how life unfolds, you can superimpose a hero's journey on every life, and then
Yes.
you can say, hey, if this is true, then that means I'm on an adventure, I'm going to go and find a mentor who can help me, and I'm going to keep pushing until I get to the transformation stage where I find myself.
I love that. Yeah. And it's so true too. Like you will like attract the right people. Like I think about my son, he's on the spectrum. He's on the what used to be Asperger's side of the spectrum. And even when he was in like kindergarten, he was attracting other kids who were of similar, like they were on the spectrum as well. And so it's like you attract the people who have similarities enough to you that vibe with you, who understand you, and who, some obviously won't recognize your worth, but others are definitely going to, because they understand what you're going through and can see it from an outside perspective, which will elevate. It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so travel is also a big thing for you. You say it's enriched your life and your work, providing new insights and inspiration. So how can authors use their travels or even the exploration of cultures different from their own to deepen their themes and universality of their writing?
I mean, basically, again, going back to our previous points, life throws a lot of stimulus at us, different experiences, and our mind is a pattern recognition machine. So the more experiences we expose our mind to, the more versatile and creative it gets, because it is recognizing all these patterns, right?
Mm.
So when you go travel, at the end of the day, humans have very, very basic similar needs. We want to feel secure, we want to feel safe, we want to have enough food in our belly, and we want to, have a better prospect for our future generation than ourselves. These are sort of common themes, right? But when you
Right.
go travel, you'll see that people solve these problems in multiple ways. You'll find different cuisines, you'll find different ways of building businesses, you'll find different ways of even storytelling. As your mind starts to pick up these experiences, it is actually growing exponentially inside, because it is taking more and more impressions on itself. And then the other thing is, you also start to recognize, by the way, those 1,000 people that you're looking for to build a community around you, it doesn't have to be in your city, it doesn't have to be in your state, it doesn't have to be in your country. It could be all the way on the other side of the planet, right?
Mm.
So that visibility is very important for you to understand this connected world today.
That is so great. I would imagine that it would be the same then too when it comes to reading. Like even though travel is a different experience, you're actually physically in that place. But when you're reading, you're kind of mentally going into those different places and
Absolutely.
bringing all that in. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
absolutely.
interesting. Okay, so I mean, I could talk to you all day about AI because it's fascinating, and talk to you about all of the different things that, like, the mindset work is something that just really resonates with me. It's something I've always really enjoyed. I've read things like Eckhart Tolle, and I don't know, it just, like, when The Matrix, you mentioned The Matrix came out, that was like the most profound movie on the planet. I was just like, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. And yeah, so it's just, for me, I love that the concepts of how we can think differently, how we can live our lives differently, how we can shift our beliefs and move into new eras by, taking on new ideas and embracing new technologies. It's
Yeah.
really a cool thing.
Mhm.
So I appreciate your conversations and like the insights in this. I think it's going to help my audience a lot. And I know that they're going to enjoy it as much as obviously I did.
Mhm.
So before we move on, where can my audience go to find out more about you, about all that you do, learn, how to get in touch? Where do they go?
Yeah. So three places I will share. One is you can find me on LinkedIn. Just Manoj Agarwal, my first name, last name. It's my personal website is the same, manojagarwal.com. And my company website is called tetranoodle.com. So the name of the company is Tetranoodle Technologies. And yeah, just uh, or Google my name. I'm easy to find. Just let me know you heard me on this podcast. What are you trying to do? How can me and my team help you?
Awesome. And I will definitely make sure to have all of the links in the show notes as well to make it easy.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thank you so much, Manoj. I'm so happy that I was able to meet you and to be able to speak with you today.
Absolutely. Same here. Thank you so much.
Guys, wasn't that conversation with Manoj absolutely fascinating? Like I said in the beginning, there was something about what we were describing and talking about, like the mashup between science or technology with spirituality. I love playing with those types of concepts. I like thinking about how we can look at things from a different perspective or a different way and come up with new and interesting ideas or ways to be able to play around in this spiritual aspect or in the manifestational side of things or whatever. And I really love that, like, someone as technologically inclined as Manoj can see the like the spiritual ramifications and the applications to be able to change the world. I mean, it his vision is so inspiring, and I love the concept of everything that we were talking about today. Like everything from, how to have the more personalized like prosthetics or medicines like that are specifically designed for our DNA, or like all it's just the future aspect is so enticing to me, and I think it probably touches on that futuristic strength that I have because I think I'm number 10 futuristic. And it's just I love that concept. I think it's just amazing. So, at any rate, I hope that you enjoyed this episode as well. We're going to be diving into a lot more on quantum manifestation very soon. So, like I said, he inspired some interesting insights in me, and I started asking myself some questions through meditation, and I got some interesting results. And so, we're going to start talking about them through podcast episodes coming soon. So, stay tuned for that. It's going to be interesting. And in the meantime, I hope you go check out Manoj, see what he does. Like follow him on the different sites if you want, like LinkedIn. He gives LinkedIn as one of his sites to be able to go check him out. But overall, just know that there's some interesting, cool things that are coming and be excited for them. Be excited to dive into the interesting world of quantum physics and quantum mechanics and neuroscience and how it all applies to manifestation because, yeah, we're going there. Speaking of that, if you are interested in like the notion of quantum manifestation, I am going to be hosting a brand new masterclass in June. So June 14th at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to be giving a masterclass on what it means for quantum manifestation and how it overlays how I'm teaching manifestation and actually complements it so well. And this was all information I got, like I said, in a meditation. So I'm like humming with excitement over being able to start talking about this concept and how it's all interplaying. It's so cool. And so I will make sure that the links and the information are in the show notes. You can also download the transcript to today's podcast episode by heading over to authorrevolution.org/235. And you can get everything right there. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy noodling on the conversation we just had and get ready in anticipation for a whole bunch more coming your way. So there you have it. It's time to go forth and start your author revolution. Okay, indie author, Carissa Andrews with Author Revolution here. We need to have a chat. I know you want to build a sustainable long-term author career, but you can't do it just by wishing for it. It would be nice, yes, but alas, you gotta do the work. By that I mean you need to reframe the way you look at your author business so that you can write and publish more frequently. With Rapid Release Roadmap, my signature online course, I'll help you learn not only how to make writing and publishing 4 books a year seem easy, but I'll help you master your prolific author mindset so that you can clear away all the negative self-talk that's holding you back. Trust me, I have been there. To learn more about Rapid Release Roadmap, head over to rapidreleaseroadmap.com. Over there, I'll give you all the insights on what you'll find inside the course. Plus, I walk you through all of the bonuses you're going to get based on the payment option you choose. And yes, there are some good ones in there, even if I say so myself. Once again, head over to rapidreleaseroadmap.com to learn more and sign up today.